This is Fox 13 News.
2 Utah fugitives are wanted on thousands of dollars in felony drug warrants. It's the kind of story Fox 13 News has brought you dozens of times over the years in our Utah's Most Wanted segments.
This time, the suspects were busted in another country after an intense high-speed chase, and it was all caught on tape. Fox 13's Scott McCain has more.
34-year-old Jackie Randall and her boyfriend, 40-year-old Lauren Fine, were busted in September for allegedly selling methamphetamine out of their Layton home. Convictions would likely have carried long prison terms. But after bailing out of jail, cops say they skipped out on their bond and made a run for the Mexican border. A few years ago, that would have made them virtually untouchable. But new cooperation between two large governments and the work of a Utah bail enforcement agent helped crack this case. This is how life on the run ended for Randall and Fine. A high-speed chase through the streets of San Felipe, Mexico, and ultimately
on the ground! Get down!
a car crash and the couple being arrested at gunpoint.
I love you, Jackie. With all my heart, baby.
It was a cooperative effort between Davis County drug cops, the U.S. Marshals, Mexican police, and Utah bail enforcement agent Jim Elliott. As a bounty hunter in Mexico, Elliott could neither carry a firearm nor take part in the arrest, but he did his best to bring cops from both countries together.
I go, what if I get you an exact address in Mexico? I mean, what if I get eyes on them and I call you, I GPS it, you got an exact address. And they said, if you get that, we'll get them out of there. I go, okay. I go, I can do that.
Mexican agents then allowed Elliott to ride along with them, and he documented most of the operation on his smartphone, including a post-arrest conversation with the suspects.
How'd you know?
How'd we know? Well, how wouldn't we know? These guys are good. These are the Mexican fugitive task force, man. They'll find you in a heartbeat. You don't come to Mexico. No one can run to Mexico anymore. Are you crazy? This is the 21st century, dude.
Elliott says it's the first time he's ever heard of, let alone witnessed, an operation like this south of the border.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you were in Mexico, it was just unheard of. It's very rare to be able to get an expeditable warrant, in Mexico.
Elliott says there's been newfound and hard-fought cooperation that's been forged between the U.S. and Mexican governments. The head of the DEA in Utah confirms relations between cops in both countries have improved a lot over the past few years.
We've never seen cooperation like this.
Frank Smith says the notion of criminals making a run for the border and living life on the run in Mexico just isn't very realistic anymore.
The Mexican government will not tolerate American citizens that are fugitives in their country. We never have any issues.
The stakes were high for Jim Elliott. Fine and Randall had skipped out on more than $110,000 in bail, cash the bondsman would lose if the couple wasn't brought back to the U.S. Elliott was determined to make it happen, and we'll show you how he pulled it off a little later in our newscast. In studio, Scott McCain, Fox 13 News, Utah.